Welcome to part 9 of our IVF journey. In part 9, we enter the 2-week wait after our second embryo transfer. This was a frozen embryo transfer. Watch parts 1 to 8 to see our IVF journey so far. Everything from doctors and nurses consultations, blood tests, internal scans, HSG scans, our egg collection, our first fresh embryo transfer, the 2-week wait after that, then our second frozen embryo transfer. And now we enter the 2-week wait for that. Fingers crossed. So we've just had our frozen embryo transfer. Everything went really well. Our embryo was a 5B B grade quality. My lining was 9.5 millimeters with a triple stripe pattern, so everything looks very promising. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see how the rest of our IVF journey goes. On the evening of the frozen embryo transfer, we start injections straight away. I'm on 2 injections in the evening. One is the Clexane injection and the other is the Prolatex injection. I've taken the Prolatex before, but it's my first time taking the Clexane injection. In the morning, I will also be taking a Prolatex injection. I'm also on 4 tablets of estrofem a day, 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening. Folic acid, vitamin D, vitamin B. The Prolatex injections come in a small little vial, so you have to use a syringe with a long needle to extract the fluid out of the vial, change the needle on it to an injection needle, and then you're good to go. The Clexane injection comes in a ready to go syringe. 1 day post 5-day embryo transfer, you can see I have 2 small bruises from yesterday's injections. This morning we started off the day with the Prolatex injection. We're doing them at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. because I like my husband to do the injections for me and he has to leave for work, so bright and early mornings. I also heard a tip to eat pineapple for the first 5 days post transfer, so I'm eating about half a pineapple for the next 5 days. Then for our evening injections, we have the Prolatex injection and the Clexane injection. For the day after the transfer, I took the day off work. I took a sick day. The reason being I just wanted to take some time for myself and to do a bit of self-care, and I was hoping it might help. So I had booked the day of the transfer off work and then I took a sick day the day after. 2 days post 5-day embryo transfer and we are flying through the injections. Today Corey brought me home some of my favourite chocolates as a treat because we are going through IVF. Isn't that so sweet? Today was my first day back at work after the transfer. Luckily I work from home, but I was so tired this evening. I went to bed at about 8:30. I think the progesterone shots are really starting to take a bit of a toll on me. Other than that, I am not really seeing any other side effects or symptoms either from the injections or the transfer, so fingers crossed. 3 days post 5-day transfer, another round of injections this morning, followed by a breakfast of pineapple. It's actually really nice. That evening we took the Prolotex and the Clexane injections. I do think that I'm maybe a little bit more moody than normal at the moment. Maybe a little bit more emotional. We're also starting to see some of the bruising.
Did you watch it going to be flying high all weekend?
No.
And Wales. I love you.
Love you, dear.
Come downstairs. Biggest deep breath ever. And Wales. 3, 2, 1. Go on. Breathe in. All out.
5 days post 5-day transfer. We're continuing with the injections, once in the morning and 2 injections in the evening.
Hey yo, it's me. It's
Core. The bruising from the injections is really starting to show up now. Today I am 5 days post 5-day embryo transfer. I did take a test this morning and it was negative, but I'm not too concerned. It is still very early. Half of the time I'm thinking it didn't work. The other half of the time I'm thinking maybe it did? I don't know. So yeah, look. I don't know. In terms of symptoms, so I had the embryo transfer on Monday. Today is Saturday. On Wednesday I was very tired. It was my first day back at work, and that evening I went to bed at like 8. I was like, I'm done with this day. Time to go to sleep. I've been feeling warmer than normal lately. Again, both of those symptoms could just be down to the progesterone injections, which I also started on Monday. I have been doing the crinone gel for a little while longer, so a good bit of progesterone. Other symptoms, maybe like a little bit of brain fog, just forgetting things, although I don't know if that is something new. And my moods are probably a little bit up and down, but again, that's probably mainly linked to the whole doing IVF too, because you know it is an emotional process. So yeah, look, we're gonna test again tomorrow morning, day 6, and see what happens.
Big deep breath in. And Wales. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Big deep breath in. All the way back out.
7 days post embryo transfer, and we are still getting negative pregnancy tests.
Biggest deep breath in ever. And Wales. Right. Do it again.
Will you tell me when you're going in?
Do it again. No.
8 days post 5-day transfer, still taking
Keep it
the
in.
injections, once in the morning, twice in the evening, and
Breathe in. And out.
pregnancy tests are still negative. 9 days post transfer,
Big deep breath in. And out.
and you can see that my bruising is pretty bad at this stage,
Right, I want to check. Big deep breath.
but we're plowing on with the injections.
Alright. Big deep breath in. And Wales.
10 days
Again.
post
And
transfer,
out.
pregnancy tests are still negative. It is now 10 days post embryo transfer, frozen embryo transfer. I'm still getting negative pregnancy tests, so we're pretty much writing this cycle off as unsuccessful. I've let the clinic know. I let them know yesterday and I asked if there's any chance if we could maybe let the doctor know and perhaps we can try to push to do another frozen embryo transfer next cycle. So last time I had to wait a month in between my fresh embryo transfer and my frozen embryo transfer, and I felt that that was really hard emotionally. For me, I thought it was worse than the 2 week wait. I feel like during the 2 week wait, there's hope that it might have worked, but during just a month of waiting for a new transfer, it was tough. So I heard back from the clinic today, and they've so kindly scheduled me in for an appointment with the doctor tomorrow. So at 9:30 tomorrow morning, I will have a call with the doctor. Ahead of my call with the doctor tomorrow, I've written out a list of questions, and I thought it might be useful for some of you guys to get an idea of some of the questions that I'm asking in case you want to ask those questions for your next cycle. So here they are. Is there any reason to think the embryo quality might have contributed to the failure of this cycle? Are there any tests you would recommend now that we've had 2 unsuccessful transfers? Some examples might be endometrial receptivity analysis, or ERA, to check the timing when you're doing the transfer, or immune or inflammatory markers, especially for me because my blood tests came back with slightly raised CRP. I'm not really sure what that means, but ChatGPT flagged it. Another test might be a test for natural killer cells, or cytokine panels, depending on your clinic's approach. My lining was 9.5 millimeters with a triple stripe. Was that optimal, or could anything be improved? Should we adjust how my progesterone is monitored given the low level before transfer last time? So my progesterone levels were a little bit low right before the transfer, so I was put on a double dose of Prolactex injections, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. So maybe we should be checking that a little bit more this time. Would you recommend repeating the progesterone blood test before next transfer? Hopefully yes. Should we consider modifying the medication protocol at all? For example, different supports or earlier monitoring with anything? Then how soon can we begin the next FET? We're both very much ready to go ahead with the transfer, but want to make sure that we're not skipping any steps that could improve our chances of success. Could we go ahead with this cycle straight away, or would the doctor recommend anything else? So yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. Good clean.
Big deep breath in. And Wills.
Day 11 post-transfer, and we are continuing with the injections as normal. I have had a call with my doctor now. He recommended that for the next month we do an ERA, or an endometrial receptivity analysis. Basically, it's a mock cycle. You take all the medication, same as this round. And instead of transferring an embryo on transfer day, that day the doctor will take a biopsy of the lining of my uterus. He mentioned that most people only do an ERA after 3 or 4 failed attempts, but he recommended it to us. So we really want to give our last 3 embryos the best chance possible. So, like, I'll try anything. Yeah, sure, take my money. Like, let's go. The purpose of an ERA is to optimize the timing of the embryo transfer. So particularly because my progesterone levels were quite low before the transfer, maybe we need to adjust the progesterone protocol, or maybe we should be transferring the embryo a day earlier or a day later. When doing this type of test, the labs can also check for inflammation, if there's any issues that would lead to the embryo not implanting, or if there maybe are any killer cells. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing that, so I'll have to double check that. Like, yes, we did want to move forward with another transfer as soon as possible. We want to have a baby as soon as possible. But at the same time, we also want to give these embryos the best chance possible. So yeah, we're happy to do it. I know that a lot of doctors don't recommend an ERA. I was looking up different reviews and different opinions online. And a lot of them kind of just said, look, it's up to, talk to your doctor about it. It's up to your clinic, and it's a very personalized plan. So if you're interested in it, I suppose you should be talking to your doctor rather than looking online. But overall, I'm feeling good that we have a plan, some sort of plan, because I think one of the hardest parts is the not knowing what's going to happen next. So it's nice to know that next month we will likely be doing this ERA, the mock cycle, and hopefully by mid-September we can do another transfer. That will depend on whether we get the ERA results on time to start a new cycle in September. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
Day 12 post-transfer, and even though we very much think that this cycle is unsuccessful, we still continue with the injections because we haven't had the beta blood test yet to confirm that it is indeed negative. Day 13, 2 weeks after the transfer, and the pregnancy test is coming up very much negative. I also take my last supply of vitamin D and folic acid today. Now they're all gone.
I'll be in. I'll be out. I'll be in. I'll be out.
14 post embryo transfer.
Leave off. Big deep breath in. Out. I do 3 times, 2 more times, alright? Breathe in.
I've had another call with my doctor today. It is the 29th of July today. And we will not be going ahead with the ERA test, the endometrium receptivity analysis. Apparently, according to European protocol, they don't recommend ERA unless there's been 3 to 4 unsuccessful transfers. So we've only had 2. My doctor mentioned that he is new to the clinic and he didn't realise that it was going against European policy. But on the call last week, he had mentioned that it was his professional opinion that we should get an ERI. So now I'm stumped. thinking about like, should we go to a private clinic to get an ERA for our remaining 3 embryos, or should we continue and do a third transfer, knowing that we could be doing this for nothing, setting ourselves up for failure. What I'm concerned about is that before my last transfer, on the same day, the morning of, I did a progesterone blood test, the results of which were very low. So I'm wondering if an ERA could be useful. Maybe we're transferring the embryo on the wrong day. I've messaged my clinic to ask if we could do an ERA privately, because we're on public healthcare at the moment, so maybe we can do it privately. It's very expensive, but not compared to paying out of pocket for IVF. So it would cost anywhere between 1,300 and 2,000, depending on the clinic. And to be honest, like, yeah, let's pay that if it would help stop us from having to pay for a full cycle ourselves. Like, in an ideal circumstance, I'm hoping that we can have the next transfer as a successful pregnancy, and also have our 2 embryos in storage, which could potentially be our baby siblings in years to come. It's very stressful at the moment. I'm hoping to get an answer from the clinic tomorrow. So yeah, let's see what happens. So it's been a busy few days going back and forwards with the clinic. Unfortunately, we are not allowed to do any testing privately outside of either with our clinic or with another clinic, or we will lose the HSE funding. This is so frustrating. We are willing to pay for it ourselves, but if we were to, we will be disqualified. So I think I'm actually going to write to the Minister of Health and raise the issue and see if we can get it changed. But that doesn't really help my situation right now. So me and Corey have had a good long chat, and we've decided that we are going to push forwards with another transfer next month in August. I just really don't want to just be sitting around doing nothing, just letting time slip through my fingers. I find that very hard mentally and emotionally. So I've notified the clinic, and we are in the process of preparing for transfer number 3, which should be happening in August. So yeah, let's hope that transfer number 3 will be our lucky number. It is hard because I did feel a lot that I felt that after the doctor recommended the tests and the fact that I'm looking into doing acupuncture, I felt that we were doing absolutely everything we could to make the next embryos, give the next embryos the best chance possible. But now we can't do that. And that's playing on my mind. But I just need to really focus now on changing my mentality, and I'm going to work on focusing on embryo number 3. If anyone has any tips, any thoughts as to how we can just channel good energy into this little embryo, what have you done to get through these kind of obstacles? Please let me know in the comments. So that's it for part 9. Our second embryo was not successful. Stay tuned for part 10 for our third embryo transfer. See how that gets on. This is all recorded in real time, so you're going along on this journey along with us. So please send us best wishes. Let me know in the comments if you're doing IVF, if you know someone going through it, if you're thinking about doing it, where are you, what are you doing? And please like and subscribe to stay a part of this journey. Thanks everyone.